Right, so this is Nasdaq on a daily time frame. As you can see, structure and sentiment is very bullish. Well, structure anyway. We're in a very clear uptrend. Structure still up. Sentiment past 3 days candles. So we've had two bullish, with the last yesterday's candle essentially being a bit of a wick rejection to the upside, and then we've had a very small bearish candle here. That's gonna be such a scuffed recording because I'm on my laptop at the moment because no Wi-Fi on my computer, so I can't actually do anything with it. Okay, now this might look a bit confusing, but there's a very simple idea. Um, so when I came onto the charts originally, I think my key level was marked at the high. I believe I really can't. Oh no! It was here actually. This was my first key level. Uh, Then I don't actually know why it's here, but it still is. Then I had this level, and then had these higher levels. Then something happened at 2 o'clock. There was very high impact news throughout the day at 1:30. I think Powell was speaking, so I knew I wasn't going to trade at all during that time, and I knew that realistically the only key level I drew that was valid would be after 3 o'clock because of stock exchange. So this was actually my my actual valid key level that I did have in the end. These were just kind of pre-markings just to check price here and then. But we can see that each level in itself is some form of level. This is at the lows of this consolidation. It's actually at the highs here. We can see it's getting respected some form of way. This is getting respected all throughout here. And this has also had a little bit of a reaction, came up, literally reacted. So all these key levels are actually valid, but obviously the tradable one was the lows or the highs here, which actually, if you look to the left, there's more consolidation. So this was actually my true level that I drew today because I did draw it basically after stock exchange because that I knew that was when I was going to start trading around, and especially I wanted to do it quite late after 3 because there was also a bit of news at 3, but it wasn't that high impact. But I still didn't want to really mess with it too much because today's just been a bit of a weird day anyway when it comes to news. And then obviously scrolling down onto the 15, we can see that this level looks a little bit good. If it wants to load, you can see that it's quite a respected key level. It's bit of consolidations, movements as soon as it comes towards this level. Cool. So I saw that price was like melting after Powell's and stock exchange specifically talk or like open, sorry, because I don't think the speech itself actually did much, but stock exchange really didn't like it, and it actually reacted back at that level, and I was like, okay, something's clearly happening here. So it scaled into a 5, and what did I see? I saw a bit of the momentum slowing down, and then this candle really like confused the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, where did all this momentum come from? So I checked the position if it made sense. It didn't really, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait for the second retest. We basically had it here, but it didn't actually come down to the level. Instead, another extremely bullish candle printed, and it actually closed above here, which would technically be my change of character if you don't want to include this one. And this was like kind of confirming that we're starting to create upward structure. So I was like, okay, basically had depletion, some form of it. It's not the best, it's not the clearest, but it happened. And then we've also had the change of character, my two confirmations at around a key level. Yes, it's a bit high, but it just made sense. My stop loss also made sense. It was just basically at the key level. We can see that price wicked here. So realistically, it wasn't want to come lower than here. So ideally, we would have had a stop loss down here with an entry a bit higher than that. So like maybe here. But obviously, this was the position I took. And it just made sense at the time. It was like a full textbook trade that just basically told me to go for it, with just a slight risk because higher time frames are a bit weird, and also the volume for news is a bit weird because we've had all this, and prior to this trade anyway, couple maybe even a week or two back, I took something similar like this where all this bullish momentum or bearish momentum was coming, and I just tried to change like one of the first two change of characters I saw, and then I got absolutely violated. So I didn't want to call this a very high probability trade because I knew that the momentum's here, the momentum can carry out. so I don't want to get faked out here. But it was quite late anyway. It's 3:30 when I actually took the position. 3:35 technically is when I would have entered, and then price consolidated. I actually had a confidence of about 6, 7, and I actually didn't really expect price to do this because normally when I trade US 30 or Nasdaq, it rips in either direction very very quickly. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm a bit confused, and I actually completely forgot the trade was running because I was out, and then I came back home. I was like, okay, I'm still in the trade. Did I even place a trade? I was like, oh shit, wait, I did. Checked. And I was about here. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh, I didn't even set a 1-to-1 alert. Luckily, it didn't actually get to that point. So I did end up setting it about this, like the 1-to-1 level. When I saw price get to here, it wasn't even at a 1-to-1. I actually decided to move my stops to break even because I had already been in this trade for about 3 hours. I think specifically it was 2 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah, it was. And that's when I was like, okay, I've been in the NAS trade for over basically 3 hours. And it already almost hit SL, and I've just got back in profit. I do not want to have price now go all the way down to SL. That makes absolutely no sense for me. So I wanted to minimize any risk. And also, I don't think NAS and US 30 from my own testing ever rips in either direction and gets high volume this late. So, quick rundown of what actually happened. Consolidated, very close to stop loss, back into profit. And it was actually at, fuck, I don't even know, my maths is so shit, 7:15, that this candle printed out of nowhere, and you can barely see it because of the way I have it, but like there's a fucking wick that actually came out of nowhere. I have no clue where this volume came from. Um, it actually tagged me completely out, obviously, and I was like, what's going on? Still have no clue what the hell happened. And then price actually came back in, and I was a bit pissed, and I was like, fuck. But I was like, oh, it was whatever. And I actually thought, to be honest, my prediction was like when I did place a trade that we would actually come towards these levels and just like be magnetized. And I thought if it gets to this level, it's getting to here. And I actually wanted to aim here, which is way more than a 1 to 2. But obviously that didn't even end up happening. Then my alerts got tagged here, but I was already out of the trade, so it didn't really matter. And then price kind of closed. It's the session close was actually around a little bit of drawdown, probably about 0.1%. So I did get out at break even, but it's just such a weird trade, and I really have no clue what happened. There's not really much that I did wrong here. It's just unfortunate. It's not even that high probability of a day because of the news and stuff, but we take this for what it is. It was all right, and hopefully this week we can end up making at least 2%, hopefully. But that was my trade recap. I don't think I missed anything. Hopefully not. It's a bit scuffed. I know that the recording is probably laggy as hell, but I can't really do much about it at the moment. But yeah, this was my trade idea for the day.